Hello, everyone. This is Tom, your host for the Hidden Truths channel. How's everybody doing this morning? Thought I'd do a live stream this morning. It'd be a good time to do one since the government shutdown is over now, right? Things are back to things being better. I don't think so. So we're going to discuss that this morning because it's crazy time. This government shutdown, to me, has shown a lot, and we're gonna discuss some of the things that I think that I've seen that the government affects people's lives in too many ways. People are too dependent on the government. Okay, so that's what we're gonna discuss. Anyway, gotta sit there, waste a little time before YouTube sends out notifications and stuff, get some people here. So if you want to fast forward, if you're watching the replay, fast forward a couple minutes, we'll get to the subject. But anyway, I tell you what, my channel did pretty good over the last few days. And YouTube's really slamming me down for it again. It's like this. Ooh, an AC wave and then poof, and you get put in the trough. Woo, back in the trough. So anyway, it's a good thing about having control, isn't it? Censorship. That's all there is out there. But we need to talk about this government shutdown that got absolutely just miraculously taken care of last night. Kicking the can down the road. That's all our government does. That's all it's ever freaking done. And it's just another way of doing it. Whenever they get the chance where they can actually fix the problem, they don't. And you know why we have government shutdowns? Because we've got two political parties that want to sit there and steal from the American citizen, taxpayer, and spend their money foolishly. It's a fight on how to spend the taxpayers' money foolishly. That's what all these government shutdowns are about, okay? Congress has control of the purse, but the president still determines how the purse is spent. And that's why they like the presidency so much. All right? But all we are is kicking the can down the road. Crazy time. Now, I tell you what, all this government shutdown stuff that we had over the last, 39, 40 days, anybody who was on government assistance, EBT, type of welfare system, and you were afraid you lost your benefits because the government shut down, okay, that should be a wake-up call for you. That should be a big wake-up call for you, that it's time to get self-sufficient, that you can't always rely on daddy government, your sugar daddy, to take care of you. Brianna, how are you doing? Appreciate you being here. But it should have been a wake-up call for people. I mean, you're going to sit there and go to starve because somebody's not going to fill your hand? You need to fill it yourself. All these people that are on EBT today and they get their EBT back, you need to start looking for a job. They walk till the last minute to them freak out. Yeah. A person's hungry, but this is the thing. Why do we got people that are dependent on the government? This is the problem with this country. This is what's broke our country. I mean, if you were, we already live it, but I'm just saying, if you actually had to take care of your neighbor financially because they didn't want to do nothing, it was your responsibility, you have to make twice as much. Now, I realize they take taxes out of our money to take care of these people, but, if you didn't get a good wake-up call after this, and what was it, 7 months ago, Trump was talking about cutting Section 8 and all this stuff, and people were, sir, what time is it? For me, it is 6 o'clock in the morning. Sun's coming up. Beautiful, brand new day. And I'm so glad the government came to an agreement to kick that can down the road. Anyway, if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification. Anything to help this channel grow, because this platform does whatever it can to destroy itself. Anyway, I'm not saying everybody wants to hear what I got to say, but some people do. And like a lot of the stuff that I don't agree with, people want to hear that too. and social media should be a place for everybody to go to and hear what they want to hear, no matter what the subject is about. But anyway, back to people being woke up about being on government assistance. Well, welcome to America. They can sit there and feed you, they can starve you. And that's what you people that have your hand out like that, waiting for somebody to fill it. What happens when nobody fills it? Or these businesses. You know, Walmart, what, $45 billion from food stamps every year? Yeah, I'm just curious. They say there's only 42 million people on food stamps, right? And everybody saw how Walmart looked the last week. Dead. Talked to my brother, Lincoln, Nebraska. Dead. I wonder how full Walmart's going to be today and tomorrow, the next day. We're going to actually see how many people are in EBT. It's a hell of a lot more than 42 million. Because if what was in Walmart and these grocery stores was an example of 310 million people that support themselves, and then the grocery stores are empty, and we're going to go to 42 million people getting food stamps, and we're going to see how full the grocery stores are. But see, that's the lie. Only 42 million people on food stamp. That's a bunch of shit. Probably like 142 million. What's up, Baldy? No, I still got my hair, buddy. It's called Marine Corps High and Tight. I've had Marine Corps High and Tight basically ever since the Marine Corps. There was a time when I got out where I had long hair and a beard. I even had a ponytail. But that's not comfortable. So, Marine Corps High and Tight, sir. Anyway, I'm just going to subscribe because of the low quality camera. Well, this is the thing. Thank you for subscribing. But, when YouTube starts financing me, I got a job. But my job, I pay to pay for me. And when I start making money on YouTube, because YouTube decides that maybe we should stop shadow banning them, and I'm close, then I'll start spending money on YouTube money on my studio and stuff. I'll let YouTube pay for my YouTube business. Oh, but what a concept. Until then, I'll just do my trees. And, I make enough money in trees to support YouTube, but I don't want to do it that way. You know what? I feel if Jeff Bezos wants me to spend some money on YouTube, they should help pay for it. How do you feel about paying taxes? Okay, let's get into my tax thing, okay? We should not be paying taxes on what you make. Income tax should be illegal. Sales tax, I believe we should have sales tax. We need taxes. The government needs taxes to support itself. But the thing is, the government needs to only spend what they bring in. But this is the thing with the national sales tax. Just listen to this now. Okay, you're working a job, and you get all those taxes taken out. Imagine if they went to a 10% sales tax, okay, on what you bought, and they got rid of the IRS, so that means you got your whole paycheck. Imagine getting your whole paycheck, okay, and that may not pay for the 10% federal tax, right? Like if you spend a lot, me, that would easily cover it. But then your company, let's say you got a company of 1,000 people. They call a small company nowadays. And they could get rid of their department that deals with the IRS and paying taxes and all this other shit. And then they don't have to pay the 7.5% towards Social Security to the government. You could get probably a 10 or 15% raise overnight, plus keeping your whole paycheck. Now, if you're a guy like me who doesn't spend a lot of money, I can be paying shit in taxes. Maybe $150 at the most at 10% a month. But see, that's a fair tax. That's where the poor guy gets taxed in the same type of mindset as a rich guy, because a poor guy doesn't have a lot of money to spend. Now, a rich guy, he wants to go out and buy his $100 million yacht. Guess what? He's going to be paying a lot of taxes. And that's fair. That's why the little guy would make out. He would be treated fair as the rich guy. And then we need to get into this government only spending as much money as they bring in. That's another thing. With the sales tax, when America is doing good and the consumer's doing good and he's spending a lot more money, the government's doing real good. Instead of Trump saying, God, the government, everybody's doing great. They have money hand over fist. This is beyond stupid. Where does the money come from? From the government? It comes from us. But nowadays, they just keep printing it, printing it, printing it. It doesn't matter. It's worthless. They're never going to let the stock market fall. Like I say, passing this continuous resolution was just another way to continue kicking the can down the road. And now the can is a 10,000-gallon gasoline barrel with dynamite in it that's about to explode. I mean, if Americans aren't ready to sacrifice and feel the pain that we've created with our financial situation in this country, with us Americans being nothing but a bunch of spoiled little pricks, our unborn generations are going to feel it. Our unborn generations are going to be born into a third world country because we decided to take all their money, we're borrowing against them, take all their money and spend it so we can sit there and continue with our lifestyle. Who does that to somebody, especially to our unborn children? Anyway, and then, we open the government, we got a continuing resolution. Good, Trump. Then you release to the public. Congress released to the public. Congress is supposed to release to the public. And I'll say, I'll say again, Congress is supposed to release to the public on how all taxes are spent. All public funds are spent. All that information Elon Musk had when he was in Doge and all that information he had access to, I have the right to have the access to that. I'm supposed to have the access to that on how every penny is spent. One thing about this continuing resolution, I'm sure the insurance companies are just as sad as can be, aren't you? Aren't you, insurance companies? You don't get your $1.5 trillion anymore. Oh my God. We need to make you a president. I tell you what, I'm not a politician. I solve problems. I wouldn't get into office and have the same problems when I got in as when I got out. The reason our politicians don't solve any problems is because if they solved the problem, they wouldn't need more money to throw at that problem, would it? The biggest problem of the government is the American people like me that stand up for themselves. Okay? The ones that support them? No, I wouldn't be a good president because I'm not politically correct. And the first thing I would be doing is, going on and say, guess what? We got all this crooked. I'd be informing the American public about everything that's going to hell on. Everything. Bunch of crooked shit, right? And then, since the hoax list doesn't exist, all we got to do is start enforcing the law in D.C. and putting these people in prison all over the country that are breaking the laws, these CEOs, the politicians and stuff. Make sure they have to obey the same laws we have to, and we can get the criminals off the street. You got Trump's got the military in D.C., right? I'm going to drain the swamp. You got the military in D.C., Trump. You're going to drain the swamp? No, he's worried about the guy who's trying to sell a bag on the corner. That's who Trump's worried about. The average guy like you and me and the woman like you, we can't even commit the crimes these people are committing. We're not rich or powerful enough to commit the crimes they're committing. And we're just allowing it. But we are the ones that can stop it. Anyway, and then Trump wanted to get rid of the filibuster. Wonder why. Trump, the reason that's in there is to protect the American citizen. So you want to go from getting rid of filibuster to go and basically you get your democracy, your Republican democracy. Not everybody in this country wants what you want, you fool. You know, these politicians get in office and right away, it's not about the American people, it's about them. They get themselves rich. New York is going down the drain with the Mondani. Oh, New York, you voted for it. Okay, if there's 8 million people there now, there maybe be 5.5 million there in the next 3 years, okay? This is what I'm saying. These politicians, they just get in there and promise the world to these people. Wouldn't it be great if you could take your neighbor's money that was rich to sustain your lifestyle? Wouldn't that be great if you could live your lifestyle according to his finances, if he was nice and rich? And then you could sit there and promise your other neighbor who's poor, hey, don't worry, I got you covered. Our other neighbor's got it good. I mean, city-run grocery stores? I mean, are you kidding me? Free busing? Free subways? You're going to have homeless shelters on buses and stuff. Nobody's going to ride the damn bus except the homeless. I mean, one thing about, these people have never been in the public, never had a public job, never had to worry about the bottom line, never had to worry about the company having to do right things to make a profit, to have a bottom line. All this free shit. Our founding fathers never wanted a politician to be able to promise a citizen that they can give them anything. Because the politician, if they're giving one citizen one thing, they're taking it from another citizen. They take from one and give to another. Am I lying? What happened to freedom of religion in the Constitution and the Geneva Convention and the Native Right Act? Well, the freedom of religion is government cannot sit there. We cannot have a national religion, and the government can't tell you how to worship. But Geneva Convention and Native Right Act. I don't know about the Native Right Act, but there's a lot of things. What about the Nuremberg Code? What's the Nuremberg Code? Oh, the Nuremberg Code was something that they came up with at Nuremberg after World War II, and what the Jews were subject to medical experiments. The Nuremberg Code covered all citizens of the world that they never be subject to medical tyranny. Anybody say pandemic? There's a lot of things they don't follow anymore. They haven't followed our Constitution in such a long time. That's the problem with this country. They're trying to change a constitutional republic into a democracy. And it depends. We can have a Republican, our mega democracy, or a liberal democracy. And all of us 50% in the middle. Ooh, what happened there? Dude, I packed my bags and moved to the Philippines. Do it. This is the thing when America falls. Like when Europe was a shit show and people wanted to get out of there and couldn't live there no more. They sat there and risked their lives, came over an ocean for 3 months into a wilderness with no, public, nothing. They had to build their own houses and everything. Where do you go in this world? There's nowhere to go when the United States falls no more. There's nowhere to go, people. It's not like you can get in a ship and take off unless one of 3 Atlas's probes comes down and picks you up, right? There's nowhere left to go. And this is why the bigwigs want to get rid of us, okay? To maintain power, power is from the people, and these people think by screwing over the people, they're going to maintain their power. I'm not from the USA. What are you saying about the grocery stores? Oh, you're not from the USA? You haven't been hearing about EBT? Come on, phone. This thing, I tell you what. I need a new phone. I admit that. Everywhere else sucks worse. Hey, Bambi, how you doing? Appreciate you being here. No, the grocery stores, EBT. Like I say, Everybody's seen the grocery stores in Walmart the last week. I'm just real curious how it's going to look today, to see how many people, and tomorrow, to see how many people are actually on government assistance. I would say it's a heck of a lot more than 42 million. Montana called for Sharia law. Yes, he can call for it all he wants, but you can't have Sharia law. This country is based on the Constitution. And Sharia law goes against the Constitution, can't have it. Communism goes against the Constitution, we can't have it. Okay? I guess if they want Sharia law, they're going to have a revolution and take our country back from us patriots. This is a bunch of shit. Yeah, I heard about what's going on in New York City. New York City is, you guys are in a lot of trouble. Okay? I mean, I don't understand how a politician who sits there and says, I'm going to tax the rich like crazy, and then expect the rich to stay in their state. Like I say, wait till Wall Street leaves. Sharia law would set back women's rights 100 years. There is no women's rights in Sharia law. Women are property. I mean, that's one thing about Americans. Yeah, you got some men that are assholes and some women that are assholes. But most people treat their spouse or treat women, or we treat them with respect. Okay? There is no women's. Sharia law can kiss my ass. No shit, Bambi. Oh, Bambi, I can see you dressing up in that garb all day long with the big, I don't think so. Hell yeah, we're America. What's wrong with being American? Our American culture, there's nothing wrong with it. It sets people free. If our American culture and freedom is so terrible, why does everybody try to come here? Why is everybody's goal to come here? Oh, white people are bad. Well, we're a white-dominated country. Just like a lot of Europe, white-dominated countries. And all they do is want to come in these countries and destroy them. White dude for Harris. Oh, are you kidding me? I know, Bambi. I will not submit. I am not going to listen to these beta males and all these other morons. I mean, I'm 58 years old. You're going to change me now? You're going to say the way I grew up was wrong because we think differently these days? Trump's a loser for average people. This is the thing with politicians, people. They all are. Because what person, billionaire, millionaire, mansions and everything, can identify with somebody who's got to stretch their money to buy groceries and gas and stuff? They have no clue, but they say they're doing it for us, and then they'll sit there and give people, we're going to give you a stimulus check of $1,000 or $2,000. That's how easily Americans can be bought, with a few $1,000s. Only people will believe, no, it's against my religion and why I am not free to practice my religion, freedom in America. Well, just, I assume if you watch some of my shorts I did this weekend about another religion. Anyway, religion is just a subject that can get anybody to argue with somebody if you disagree. I mean, your core beliefs, your religion is your core beliefs. I don't give two fucks what you do at the end of the day. I'm just the principle of it. How's Joe's prostate cancer? I don't know how Joe's prostate cancer is. He's been sick a lot longer than that. Should have worried about him when he was almost walking off the stage and strolling off into the woods and shaking hands with people that didn't exist on the stage. We should have been more worried about it then. I have more freedom here in the Philippines. America is not the land of the free no more, people. That is a misconception. It is if you want to be an illegal in this country, but the American citizen, our rights in the Constitution, the right to bear arms. Okay, that's a right. Not something we need a government permission for, not something we need a permit for, not something we need to do a background check for. Hey, I know this is why I'm on here. Okay, I know we've lost our rights. I was in the Marine Corps. I know what it's like to live in the country where you're a property of the government. And That's what we are. But most people can't feel, especially after COVID. We went through that soft boot camp for everybody. We need to fix like Trump is. We need to fix this, like Trump is doing. If you have faith in a politician to bring a better life to your home, it's not going to happen. DC is gone. DC is beyond gone. Okay? I got too much light behind me. That's what the deal is here. There, now we can see me. Got too much light behind me. So anyway, and I got a junky phone, so I apologize. Anyway, but yeah, it's crazy time. But they got the government shutdown's over. All these people are going to be so happy. Ooh, I got my EBT. I got my government assistance. The businesses that rely on the government are going to be happy. A lot of the government, when they say government shutdown, what exactly does that mean? It just means that the American citizen that they're trying to fill their hand, they get spoiled. I mean, not get to the point where you're not paying the military. When I was in the Marine Corps, I got told no matter where I was at in this world, no matter what I was doing, I got thanked twice a month. Twice a month. And now service members can't even count on that. That's our politicians for you. That's why they just don't understand what it's like to be the average person. I mean, these politicians and stuff have more money than they'll ever use of the rest of their life. They're sitting there setting their kids up, too big to fail. But do women get $12,000 in food stamps? How do you feel about that? No, our government should not be in the business of handing out money to nobody for nothing, whether it be a business or a person or another country. Okay? All the taxes being brought in should be sit there protect our freedom, liberty, and the Americans' pursuit of happiness. And the government doing as least intrusive in our lives as possible. Imagine how much taxes we wouldn't have to pay if we went back to that. We'd be a rich country. We wouldn't have to pay taxes. If we would, the only reason our taxes are so high, people, is because our government spending is out of control. I mean, if you were in a house and every time you got a raise, you sat there and went 20% more in debt, but your raise was only 10%. This is what the government's doing, spending money they don't have. We don't have. And then Trump's going to sit there and say how everybody's doing so great. That's right. Don't forget that the government owns 10% of Intel, but that's not a communist thing. They just own 10% of Intel. Hey, any of you taxpayers seen any of the? Did you get your dividend check for the stock that the American people have in Intel? Nope. The government's going to get all the profits from that. No, the published me get because of my health and fare. That was my understanding. Okay, I'm sorry I'm missing the chat on that. Anyway, we just kicked the can down the road. Nobody wants to solve the problem. All these people complaining about EBT, it wasn't the hardworking single mother that had 2 jobs that was on there complaining now, was it? She was out working, probably picking up some more hours to sit there and pay for the money she wasn't going to get. But a lot of these people, all they did is bitch and complain. Their only option in life is for the government to fill their hand. Can you imagine a life like that? I mean, eventually it's going to end, people. Our government keeps printing money and spending it that is monopoly money. Eventually, we are going to become a third world country. Our economy is going to collapse. And if you've ever been to a third world country, they don't have welfare systems. Either rich or you're poor. There's no middle class. There have been bringing the third world country into this country for so long. As you know, these people that hire third world country employees. Okay? And I'm going to tell you, working with a lot of them, there's a reason we're a first world country. It's because of the American attitude. The Americans' attitude to succeed no matter what's in front of them, to sit there and take on hardships and succeed, to push it to the limit. They become better. Okay, these third world countries aren't like that. There's a reason they're a third world country. It's because of the mental attitude they have. And then they come here with their work. I don't want to say work ethics. They don't even know, like in agriculture. They don't know how to run this big equipment. I mean, these South Africans, they're dealing with tractors we had in the 50s and 60s that they're doing the fields with. And they come here and we have big old computerized tractors. They don't know how to run them. They're breaking the shit. These H-1B visa workers will sit there and bring them in and pay them $6,000 a month. And then these guys will do $10,000 a month worth of damage. But guess what? It don't matter. We're not going to hire that white American. Anyway, crazy world we live in. There's a lot of problems in this country, and our government is the main one. It don't matter who's in office, people. Wings of the same bird. Wings of the same bird. Democrats get pissed off because, not that they're spending money, Republicans are spending money we don't have. They're not pissed off about that. They're pissed off about what they're spending it on. $38 trillion plus dollars in debt this country is, people. Do you know when it comes time to pay the piper, what kind of pain the average American's going to feel? That's why I live a life where I'm not going to have to worry about that shit. If I didn't have to pay taxes, I got the VA, but I don't go to the VA. I haven't gone to the VA in 20 years. But I don't deal with the government. I wish the government would just get the hell out of my life. Jon Stewart for president 2028. Post to this, anything political if you agree. Let Jon Stewart know he has support. Well, we need some average guy in there. We need some people that are Americans that are pissed off and willing to do the sacrifice and make sure everybody else goes through it. Yeah, people were complaining about EBT. Like I say, instead of complaining about, oh, we ain't got our EBT, they should have been hollering at Trump, get these H-1B visa workers out of this country, get the illegals out of this country, and stop having AI take jobs so we have a job to go to. They want to cut off public assistance and don't have a job for them to go to. Okay, now Trump's got it to where these people got to work so many hours a month to get their benefits. Well, what the hell's wrong with that? In California, for crying out loud, picking up garbage in the roads. Ever been to that state? It's a disaster. Looks like shit. Looks like garbage trucks, like those 6-lane highways, the interstates they have there going through the cities, like 6 garbage trucks went down the road with their back end open, just dropping garbage. Yeah, that's the way it looks. Clean up your damn state. There's plenty of work to be done. You know, if you don't want to pick your own tomato, nobody's going to pick it for you. And that's the attitude we need to start getting in this country. Anyway, trying to get away from the sun. Like I say, it's a beautiful morning. Things are great, people. The government is up and running again. The parks are going to be open. People are going to have EBT. The grocery stores are going to be a madhouse today. But don't worry, it's only 42 million people that are being fed. So when the grocery stores are all full, we're going to see who actually buys all the groceries in this country. 42 million people on EBT. You go to Walmart today and you tell me that's all you've seen is 42 million people on EBT. If people worry about their selves and not what somebody else is doing, they would be doing better in life. Yeah. But you know, that's what you got to base your life on, what your neighbor's doing. Yeah, be happy when you're happy with the person you see in the mirror, life gets a whole lot better. And you only worry about the stuff that the person in the mirror has to worry about. You actually solve your problem instead of trying to solve somebody else your problems by solving somebody else's problems. That's what self-sufficiency is. That's what this country was built on. Worry about yourself. Take care of yourself. When you can take care of yourself completely, that's when you help your neighbors out because you're not dependent on your neighbors. And that's when you help your community out. You can help your community out a lot better when you're self-sufficient. You can, give more help when you don't need help yourself. I'm just so sick of this government. I mean, we're so in debt, people. And people all these people on EBT, I'm happy. I'm happy we got our money now. I just tell you what, going to the grocery stores could be crazy. Sir, have a wonderful week. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. These truths are hidden. Yeah, that's why I like that. There's a lot. All the truths are hidden. Churchill said, protect the truth with the bodyguard of lies. Isn't that what they do these days with everything? I mean, they have people that sit there and put out misinformation. They pay people to put out misinformation. Okay? The government don't do it now. Now they got people on social media doing it. Especially there's a certain country that has people doing it. If someone is on EBT, so be it. I'm not worried about their pocket and they're not doing. I'm more worried about my pocket and what I'm doing. Yeah. But see, this is the thing. You may not be worried about that other person on EBT, but they're taking from you. Okay, everybody says money solves all problems. Well, I guess if somebody's taking your money, they're creating problems for you, right? It's just we should not. Human beings don't need to be an animal that you don't want to feed. Don't feed the bears, right? Why don't we feed the bears? Because we don't want the bears to become dependent on humans to feed them. Because then they become dangerous when they get hungry. That's why you don't feed the bears. But we're going to keep feeding the people. None of it makes sense. But we got the government open again. I didn't miss it being closed. I mean, like I say, they still take taxes. Not like, really, what functions ended besides paying people that they didn't, that aren't in the club like the military. That's such crock of shit. They need to change that immediately. The military gets paid way before a politician gets paid. Way before an EBT recipient gets paid. The military gets paid. Flat out. God, what a bunch of crap. Anyway, but the bears, bears and lions, lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Yeah, see, this is the thing. You stop feeding the bear is going to eat you, okay? I just hope all these people on EBT, when it finally breaks down and we're a third world country, they remember who said their hands were going to be filled. It wasn't the American taxpayer. He's pissed. It's the government, okay? And it's when this EBT was going down, and they said they were going to take it. These SNAP people were going to take it out on the American worker, steal their groceries and shit. Really? So after we sit there and get our money stole from us to fund EBT, and since the government won't give it to us, you're going to steal more from us to cover for you. Stealing. Anyway, crazy time. Hey, if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe and the bell notification, anything to help the channel out, because as you can see, I don't like government control. I don't like the government trying to tell me They can't tell me to do anything. That's another thing. They're beta males. Think I let a beta male walk into my house and tell me what I'm supposed to do and how to live? Not a chance. They get escorted out of here immediately, just like a politician will. Bye-bye. See you later. I don't need you. All they do is take our money. Like I say, when a politician gives somebody to something, they're taking it from another person, okay? That's all a politician is, the middleman. And they have the right to sit there and take whatever they want from those who have and give to those who don't have. Anyway, story of this country's life. How long do you think this is going to go before this 10,000 gallon barrel of gasoline with the dynamite in it finally explodes? I mean, we had a little scare of it now. Oh, no EBT. No EBT for what, 9, 10 days? Like I say, I'm going to go to Walmart today just to see. I want to see if the store looks like it did a week ago or a couple days ago with 20 or 30 cars in the parking lot and really nobody in the store. More employees than there were people. Customers. Let's see if that happens again today. Or am I going to really see how many people are on government assistance? You know, government entitlements just hides the poverty of this country. The American taxpayers just pays more to hide the poverty of other people. And pretty soon they're just going to put us in poverty doing the same thing, making us do it. Crazy times, people, crazy times. It just shows us the weakness of this country. If Americans don't get their spoiled ass little way, they're going to cry and bitch until even the Democrats cave. Like I say, how you feeling, insurance companies today? How you feeling, insurance companies? You get no money. Damn. But don't worry. You know why another reason the Democrats agreed? Because they know in a year they're going to have the House and the Senate. And then in 3 years, they're going to have the White House. They know this. So they're just biding their time. And with all this power and authority that Trump's put into the presidency, I hope all you mega people enjoy it when it's used against you. Okay, like I say, they're going to sit there and be able to cut funds that they don't want. They're going to have their own Doge, aren't they? God, I would love to see how $38 trillion was spent. I have a right to see that. See, as an American citizen, the Constitution says, I have a right to see that. If they released that information on how all that money was spent, every politician would be arrested tomorrow. You're judging, you're not God. Who's judging? Okay, giving my opinion is not judging. God gives you freedom of choice. I will never interfere with somebody's freedom of choice. Ever. But I will also not be responsible for the consequences of their actions. You want to sit in this country and be a fucking bum and not do a damn thing? You're going to starve. But that's not my problem. You pissed off because your neighbor's got more of this or more of that? Well, then work the 80-hour weeks he works and she works. Oh, no, I can't do that. Oh, my God. They want to share in the rewards, but they don't want to share in the work that it gets to get the rewards. And that's, it's all a bunch of freebies. And then to illegals. I mean, the insurance companies and the illegals didn't get their money. Good. Let's fire the illegals. They're off the welfare program. Then they will go home. An illegal immigrant who came here illegally to exploit this country is not going to be homeless in our streets. They will go back home. Take away the incentive, get rid of them. You're pissed off. Things will get better, sir. Yeah. When? When, Sarah? When are things going to get better? Okay, I'm 58 years old. In the Marine Corps, I got to see the world, the bad parts of the world. And in 94, when I got out, and I got to see this country for what it really was. I was on the outside looking in, and it was bad then. And we're 31 years later, a hell of a lot more shit. I mean, back in 96, 97, or was it 98, whatever, the worst thing we had, 97, 98, we had to worry about was Monica Lewinsky. Can you imagine them days? Do you think it's gotten a little worse since Monica Lewinsky? It ain't going to get better, people. If you think you're going to vote your way out of this, you're not. Like I say, our politicians now are taking money, stealing money from our unborn children, and America doesn't do nothing. Our politicians are so slick that they were able to put this country $38 trillion in debt without the American citizen doing a damn thing about it. It's going to get better, huh? Yeah, you know what's going to get better? When American citizens stand up, we've had enough of this shit, and take our country back. And the only reason there would be bullets flying is if our corrupt criminal government decided not to give up power. Okay? The power of the government is in the people. If the people decide, hey, it's time to dissolve this government and elect a new one, and the government decides, well, people in charge say, we're not going to have that, what they would, well, we see they're tyrants. They put them in 4-star hotels, give them new smartphones, driving lessons, 3 meals a day, and on where I am at. Yeah. That is such bullshit. I mean, these Democrats wonder where all the goddamn money went to for Obamacare and shit. It went to the illegals. You're broke. This old man is a joke. Well, thank you, Michael. I appreciate your opinion. But I do plan on making people laugh on YouTube. But hey, you don't have to agree with me. That's one thing in this country. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to live like me. I don't have to agree with you. I don't have to live like you. I don't have to even sit there and like you. You don't have to like me. That's the best thing about this country. You're not forced to do anything you don't want. And the government's supposed to protect that. But I'm glad you think I'm a joke. Appreciate it. Okay? You know how these people that say that shit, if they had the mob running down their street, who would they want in the foxhole in their front yard to keep the mob off? Would they want a crazy joke like me or some piece of shit beta male they support? Like I say, insults go nowhere, sir. I'm not perfect, but I'm also not retarded or a fool. Freedom of speech, exactly. This is the thing, people. A communist country, you're forced to listen to what some moron's saying. In this country, if you think I'm a moron or a joke, you can do this thing called change the channel. You got a choice, man. You got a choice. Imagine that. And I don't care what your choice is. I'm on YouTube to sit there and try to wake some people up and see that, we're just going more into the abyss, kicking that can down the road. Hey, let's open the government again. It's going to make everything better. We're going to just keep spending money. The amount of money they're spending. I mean, what's this country already gone just this year over $2.5 trillion in debt? Probably more than that, but that's what we're in debt. Can you imagine that? I mean, they say most Americans live 10% above their means, right? Our government's living 30, 40% above its means. And the only way they can think to remedy the situation is not cut their spending, just take more money from us. We need more money, and so we can spend more money. And like I say, they don't solve a damn problem. Government has never solved the problem. You can go social media and check all these videos out from everywhere. Teachers saying these new kids are unteachable. Kindergarten teachers saying that half the kids in their class still don't know how to use the bathroom. Are you kidding me? Parents don't even want to potty train their kids? I mean, a kindergarten teacher's got to deal with changing diapers now? Maybe they need to change the diapers of the parents. But teachers, They're saying these are liberal teachers too, saying that our country's screwed because the future of our country is our children. And since we're raising our children, basically not the ability to have a future, well, we're just cutting our own throats. But these teachers, they say Gen Alpha, we cannot get our politicians to say where they are loyal to. America is falling down. Yeah, we all know who American politicians, most of them are loyal to. When they go do this on the wall. I need to do that video today about international Jewish conspiracy. Yeah, I'm going to say it. Bunch of crock of shit. I'm not an anti-Semite. I just see the things the way they are. And I see who the puppet master is pulling the strings of our politicians. Okay, most anybody else can see it too. We go in debt every freaking year. We have been in debt all along. Yeah, but see, on October 16th, because either October 16th or October 23rd, I can't remember again, of 1983, what happened that day? That was the day America first went $1 trillion in debt. And me being alive during this time and watching the news during this time, I got to hear on how America was going to fall. We were finished because Reagan put us $1 trillion in debt. And Reagan, I don't agree with it, but that was a tactic he used by spending money to get the Soviet Union to spend money they didn't have to collapse the Soviet Union. About $1 trillion at the end of 1983. So 42 years later, well, we're just trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in debt more. See, that was just something that opened the floodgates so our politicians could spend more money. And then they just come out with this new economic theory, okay, that monopoly money's good. Debt is an asset. I mean, debt is an asset? Is that what they're really teaching kids these days? Is that debt is an asset? So they can get kids to go into debt? So your college education that you got that cost you 6 figures is, even though it's a debt, you can't get a job, it's an asset to you? Crazy time. Hey, if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification. Help the channel grow, get the word out. We got a lot of crazy stuff going on. You always repeat what you online. We can't see you, dude. That's the purpose of it. I need a better camera. Anyway, it just, all they did when they reopened the government is keep kicking the can down the road. And who are they actually kicking? They're kicking the American people as they're kicking the can down the road, kicking us harder and harder, saying we need to sacrifice more and more. That's what we get told. The American taxpayer has to sacrifice more and more. Well, these entitled bitches just sit there and scream they need more and more and more. I mean, when you sit there and get on YouTube or social media and you say it's the American taxpayer to fund your life, or you got a couple kids so you can't go out and work. Really? Boy, a lot of other people have kids, they go out to work too. Anyway. So I guess everything's better in this country today. Like I say, go to Walmart, go to the grocery store, and actually see how many people are in EBT. A lot more than 42 million. Crazy world we live in these days. Crazy world we live in. So what I was thinking, Woody Harrelson is going off. What's Woody going off about? 86% of Americans vote for Trump. You didn't represent us, dude. USS online crying. 86%. Okay, Martin, what are you saying? I voted for Trump? Yeah, I did. But I didn't vote for Kamala Harris. But Trump lied his ass off. And I will never, ever, ever vote for a politician in this country again. I vote for none of the above. I vote for 1776. This is what happens when you got to vote for the lesser of two evils. Anyway, like I say, you want to have faith in your politician that they're going to make your life better? Well, I hope you the best of luck. People like me, the way we grew up, the way we were taught if you want something in this life, You got to get it. Life isn't fair. It's only as fair as you make it. Okay? Follow your happiness and the money will come. Basically tells you you're not going to be rich when you're 20. Okay? All this stuff. You're responsible for your own feelings and your own actions. Boy, that stuff isn't taught no more. Can't have another 1770s. Those kind of people aren't made anymore. I am. I'm a patriot and a half. I'm tough as goddamn nails. That's why I'm on YouTube here. I like to find a few more people like me. There's a lot of us vets out there. We're quiet. But the biggest military in the world is all us vets that our country has created over the last 35 years. Yes, we have been at war for 35 years. And like I say, when we get pissed off enough, where we got to come out and protest, everybody knows what a vet protest would look like. Okay? And they got to be careful of that. And all us vets, we can take over the bases, run all the equipment, fly the planes, take care of the tanks, all that shit. Run the machine guns. We know how we got the experience and the training for it. You know, give our government something to worry about instead of a bunch of 42 million people that are screaming that don't get their EBT. Okay, when the vets finally have had enough and we start organizing our government, oh shit, we screwed up. Okay? And remember, during the revolution, 20% participated in the revolution, whether fighting or supporting it. But 100% of the population got to enjoy the rewards for winning the Constitution. For winning the revolution. 100% of Americans got to enjoy it, except the slaves. But we did fight a war to free the slaves, right? If that's what the Civil War was fought about. So we corrected that problem, right? Not unless a politician can use it as leverage to get some votes, right? Or money. That's when slavery didn't end, when it benefits a politician. I figured it out. Just tell me what to do. Well, we are going to get the toys. We got to wait, Paul. We have to wait. Stand by to stand by. If you were in the military, you know exactly what I mean by that. We're going to have to stand by to stand by. Because it's not the time yet. Timing's everything. If you were in the military, absorb this. Okay, get yourself in a situation where you ain't got to deal with the modern problem. Like say, I live in an area where I don't have to lock my doors or take the keys out of my vehicle. Whether I leave for one day or a month. When I got to start locking my door, taking my keys out of my vehicle, I'll move from here. Yeah, but I still live in traditional America. And that's the hardest thing. Living in traditional America and seeing what the rest of America's got to deal with. And feeling guilty about it. Because other people make bad life choices, turn their cities into absolute hellholes, and I don't have to deal with such shit. But this is the joy of living in flyover country. It really is. The liberals are getting in his head. Who, mine? Liberals. I tell you what, if I could have one, I was in Minnesota during the pandemic, right? Never wore a mask, never social distance, never took the shot. Then went to work every day. Didn't follow none of that shit. I couldn't get one liberal to try to jump on my ass. I went into Walmart and they'd say, sir, you need to. And I turn around and look at them like that and they shut the fuck up. Never finished their sentence. I can't get no pussy liberal to debate me. On here, on YouTube, I can get some comments from a bunch of people that are hiding in their basements that would never put their face on the screen. But don't worry. Couldn't get one liberal to stand up to me. Why? I guess I must have been the only American that understood his constitutional rights, understood the Nuremberg Code, that type of stuff. You know, I knew that I was in charge of my destiny, not the government. Anyway, A lot of people that played Simon Says. And the government's learning, just like a lot of us are learning. But when the time comes, brother, what are you talking about? We have to happen within 5 or 10 years because U.S. demographics have shifted too so drastic due to the immigration, and those people are not independent patriots. I know. We've let the enemy into this country, and no shit. We should have done this back in 1994. I went in when Reagan was in office. His last 3 years he was in office, I went in the Marine Corps, and I got out when Clinton was in office. You don't tell me I didn't see, wow, this country's fucked up. Even though it was the Clinton administration that basically, cut us off. We don't have no place to put you in the military anymore. This is why I don't feel bad about these government employees losing jobs, because that's the way the government treated us in 93 and 94, 95, us service members. Didn't matter what your record book looked like. It didn't matter nothing. If they didn't have a place to put you when you re-enlisted because they were cutting the forces by so much, I got severance pay and a thank you after 8 years. So I don't feel a damn bit bad about these government employees getting fired or laid off. Good. Because they do it to the military just as goddamn easy. Chill out, Einstein. How can you guys sit there and even say I'm excited? Have you ever watched any videos on YouTube of people freaking out? I mean, yeah, I can freak out. I do have one video where the defeatist attitude of this country, getting back to the Patriots, so many people have an attitude in this country that we can't do nothing. It's just the way it is. We got to accept it. Bullshit. Bullshit. If somebody's intruding on you, an intruder comes into your house, do you just sit there and deal with it? There's nothing you can do about it? Or do you act? The government's no different. The government's not all powerful and you're not allowed to say anything or do anything. No, if the government comes in and is a criminal to you, you have every right to defend yourself. Still, What was your MOS? I had many MOSs. I had ground side MOSs, and I had electronic MOSs. The MOS that I was in when I got out of the Marine Corps only had 52 people in it. 52. So I was in a ground technical. Anyway, I did what I was told, right? That's what we all do there. But yeah, 03 field to the electronics field, 600s. Anyway, long time ago, right? I got to experience a lot when I was in the service. And that's why, when I got forced out, I didn't understand it. They spent all this money on me, training me. I mean, I spent probably a total of 1.5 years in schools. And then it didn't matter. Crazy time. Like I say, they cut our government like that. That was back in 94, 95. People, look it up. Force reductions. 25% of all service members had to go. That means the Marine Corps had about 206,000. We had to get rid of 52,000 Marines in 3 years. They were still had boot camp, but senior NCOs and officers, they just gutted our ranks. I was in the 03. I was in the 03 field, and then I had to go through my electronics school, okay? Did you have a top secret clearance? I'm not going to talk about it. Anyway, I did what I was told. That's what I did. Just like everybody else told, what you were trained to do, what the government decided to do, what your job was going to be, what your specific mission was going to be. I got to see a lot of the world, a lot of the bad parts of the world. Sorry you have that issue play in on your mind, especially when you were in the service. That's what makes it worse in your mind. The thing is, all 3 is grunt. All 311 is the grunt, right? There's lots of fields in all 3. FOs. You know what an FO was? If you were, a foreign observer. Anyway, doesn't matter. I did my job. I'm highly trained. And, I don't take shit. Highly motivated. And, I never thought that I would be in my 50s thinking about the enemy as my government. My government trained me that my enemy was always overseas. Like I said, we overseas asking questions. Why are we doing this shit here? So you don't have to deal with it in the United States. We're going to solve, we're dealing with it out here, so we don't have to deal with it for it to come to the United States. And look at everything I saw over there is starting to happen here. We're surrounded by enemies. I mean, you can't even go to church safely in this country anymore. Thank God I got military experience and training. It helps out today in this country. Helps out a lot. Always be on alert, people. Anyway, but now we don't have the EBT wars to worry about, right? Magnesium landing gear will melt metal. Magnesium landing gear. What is this live stream about? It's about the government shutdown, buddy. It's about everything's back to normal. It's about how the American taxpayer is going to have to go to work today and not worry about his taxes going down. Just be going up. So a lot of people got food on their table now, and the American taxpayer is going to go out there and work harder and make more money to support that government that needs more money. So anyway, this deal we live in, the world we live in. It just, Trump, make it so these people that you're going to kick off eventually get rid of, because I tell you what, Trump's going to be getting rid of entitlements. They're going to be going within the next 3 years. They need some jobs to go to, though, too, sir. They need some jobs, okay? Let's stop worrying about foreigners and start worrying about Americans. That's what the government's supposed to do. And Americans start worrying about making sure that you can survive on your own and support yourself instead of another American supporting you. When did all this stuff start? Now, I don't have a problem with rich people, with them having money. What they do with it's their right. But I'll sit there and tell a poor guy, you're a son of a bitch, you're a retard, and I'll tell a billionaire the same thing to his face. You're a retard, okay? Like the person who owns this social media platform ran it into the ground, a retard. But don't worry, they all got these business PhDs, right? And the only thing they're good at is running businesses into the ground. Like our government, we elect people that got college degree and PhDs in constitutional law and economics and whatever. And all they do is run us into the ground. All I got to say is the average man or woman can read the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and Bill of Rights and understand them completely. Okay? After reading them one time, couple hours of study, I understand it. That's called a patriot. And you got people that go to college for 8 years to study constitutional law and still don't understand it. They're called politicians and lawyers. Would you say that's true? I'd say it's true. Gulf of Tonkin. Oh yeah. False flags. Start a war. Leaders have been doing that. Hitler did that with that German radio stations, dressed their soldiers up in Polish uniforms and took over the radio station and announced and broadcast some anti-Nazi stuff and left a dead man there that they had killed the day before. Yeah, false flags, no shit. Then the truth comes out, right? Oh my God. War makes money. Yeah, it makes a lot of money, especially when these people fund both sides. And we spend all this, over $1 trillion we're spending on this country this year, just on the Department of War, right? Department of War. But we're not at war. Tell me why the Department of War needs over $1 trillion a year if we're not at war. If we're at peace, hell, they should only need at least, 500 million at the most. What the hell do we need $1 trillion to the Department of Defense? Because they have war, okay? All these countries are building their militaries financed by the banks or the citizens of that country for war. It's been a long time since we had a big old knockdown, drag-out war, hasn't it? And it seems like a lot of people in the world that are leading these countries just can't wait for it. Just can't wait for it. If you like the content, please hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification. Anything to support the channel. This channel doesn't ask for money. I don't sell for anything. People are broke enough. I don't like these YouTube channels that sit there and talk about how bad the economy is, and then the first thing they do is want you to donate or buy something from their channel. When this channel gets monetized, if it ever does, just watch a commercial. Let the bigwigs pay for it. By the way, I'm here to get the word out. I got a job. I make a living. But at my job, I'm not a town crier where I can sit on the corner and scream what the hell's going on. I can do it on YouTube. I got social media. I like that. But you expect the people, or people say, you need to settle down. You need to settle down. When our country is being stolen from us, people are being abused in this country. We have the enemy being welcomed into this country, and a ton of them here. How else is a Marine supposed to act? I'm just supposed to be all calm and stuff? Everything's great. Oh, we just created our country into a war zone. Everything's great. Guy in live stream don't even know his first MOS. Hey, what's that? Stir? Don't worry about my military career. Okay? I was on the ground side, and I had electronics I had to learn too. Okay? I guarantee you never did it. What's your MOS, Tom? Like I say, I had 7 of them. 0311 on up. I went to schools for 1.5 years. I got a very good education in my MOSs. I just didn't have one MOS. I wasn't your typical Marine. Whatever. You know, what was your MOS? I was an 0311 the whole time. Well, good. You stuck being an 0311. See, with my IQ and my physical abilities, I got put into a different slot. Okay? Just telling me, no, I'm a crazy. Like I say, you think that? Just go watch my other content. Just go watch my other content. You know, like I say, insults on this is so fun. Hey, I'm going to sit there. I should do a content. I don't read that. Many Marines have multiple. You're not special in any kind of way. Okay. All right. Yeah, I saw them, but there were very few of us. Very few of us. Anyway, and in the Marine Corps, there's not a lot of them that have a lot of MOSs, especially when you were only in for 8 years. I mean, I basically got an MOS every year I was in. I did lots of things. I mean, work in electronics. I mean, I was qualified in the schools I went through to solder things that went on the space shuttle. And I still carried a rifle. So was that the time you had in the Marine Corps there? Anyway, this is why I don't understand why I got forced out. All the education and money they spent in the, you say when you go from an MOS that has 52 people in it, and then Congress gets together and decides we only need 26 people doing that, and this is why we had 9/11. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, but don't worry. There's going to be time for me to use my military experience and skills. The day's coming. Maybe I'll be a trainer. I don't know. But the can got kicked down the road. Hope everybody's happy that's on government assistance is happy. All these businesses that rely on government assistance from people are happy. And, I'll go pay my taxes today. How's that sound? I'll do my part. Stop playing games like that at your age. Okay, if you don't like it, scroll on. But this is the thing, people. Like I say, you don't have to listen to me. I'm not asking you to agree with me. Okay, I know I'm kind of an eccentric type of fellow. Okay, that's why I've always been kind of different in life, right? Okay, because I'm an eccentric type of fellow. And I don't expect, with me, you either like me or you don't like me. There's no in between. Either, you'll think I'm great or you'll sit there and I rub people the wrong way. That's fine. That's today's world. Like I say, since when does anybody have to agree with me? Think I'm supposed to get upset with you because you write a nasty, nasty comment? No. You think I'm going to get upset if you threaten my life on my chat? No. Because just come out here. You want to threaten me and do hurt to me, come out here. And after I put you to work for a day, maybe you'll think differently about it. But whatever it takes to solve the problem. Because, me arguing with people in my chat is ridiculous. Because the person in the chat isn't my enemy. The person in the chat thinks I'm their enemy because their enemy, their politicians, told them I'm their enemy. And that's why they act that way. But see, I see who the real enemy is. So sorry, I'm not going to hate you. There's more reason to sit there and not like the person that's brainwashing you. Okay? The enemy is in D.C. Yep. And remember, Trump has troops there because he's to clean up the streets, but he's not going to drain the swamp. If we ever enforce the laws of this country on all men, okay, all people, we have to elect a new government anyway, because there'd be nobody left in the government. This guy thinks he's a snake from Metal Gear Solid. I don't know what that is. What was your rank? I got out as sergeant. Oh wait, is the shutdown over yet? Yes, the shutdown is over. I don't know when EBT is going to go up, but Trump's trolls go away. Yeah, Sarah, the thing with trolls, I want to welcome them here. They're misunderstood. Hopefully I can because trolls will have their purpose when it comes time to correct this country. And I wish I could actually get a troll that had a little bit of sense. Instead of think it out, guys. Don't act on emotion because you sound stupid. Sorry, lost your live there. Last thing I heard was 9/11. Have to put my 2 cents in. There was a wait for the heroin and oil for the painkillers. Oh, I tell you what. What about this war in Central America? Is that just the way the CIA is using our military to get rid of their competition? I don't see no CIA boats being blown up. It's a possibility, right? It's a possibility of poppy fields in Afghanistan. The CIA's got to make their money somewhere. The government's got to make their money for their black budget projects somewhere. Oh, yeah. Crazy times in this world. I had some guy that I was playing poker with, not that I want to play with him again, but he's talking about, oh, my God, this is an absolutely retarded response. They're blowing those boats right off the coast, and they got those drugs floating in the sea. I'm going to wait on the beach for them. Sit there and spend your time wanting to wait on a beach for some package that might wash ashore. This is crazy, people. This is crazy. Paul, not all of us are kids. We need consequences to make America great again. Well, consequences to your actions. You have freedom of choice. In this country, you're allowed to sit there, pursue your happiness, your freedom and your liberty. Okay? If you make the wrong choice and it blows up in your face, you fail, it's not another American's or the government's problem to come in and save you. You have to be responsible for the consequences of your actions. Good consequences. You should be able to enjoy them yourself without, that's nothing. You become successful. Why is the government sitting there right away? You fill in their hand. I was successful. The government seems to that they need some money out of every transaction that happens in this country. Okay, so you're successful, the government steals from you. You're not successful, the government steals from you, or you're successful, the government steals from you and gives it to people that aren't successful. Now, how is that supposed to help anything out? Giving somebody something for nothing never benefits them in their life's ambitions and goals. You know, the experience of being human is not sitting in your apartment or Section 8 housing waiting for your government funds to hit whatever card they hit. That is not the fulfillment of the human experience. But in today's world, it is. And our government just keeps pushing them that way, pushing them that way. And the government's goal is to eventually get everybody on some type of government entitlement until they go to universal basic income. Because they know you control somebody's finances, you control them. But just remember, government, you can control them to a point. But when you lose control, things could get silly. Anyway, like I say, when the can that's now a 10,000 gallon barrel of gasoline with dynamite in it, and the fuse has been lit, but they put the fuse out. Oh, we got the government running again. Don't worry. What's it for? A couple weeks? Why don't they just pass a budget, live within their means? Boy, that would be a concept, wouldn't it? Get everybody back to work. So the thousands of veterans, disabled veterans, or leeches. No, vets ain't leeches. You know, a lot of these homeless vets have issues. I had issues when I first got out, and I had to deal with society. You know, I deal with civilians that are a bunch of fucking idiots. I still have problems, but I figured out a way to deal with them. I isolate myself. I'm a lone wolf. I don't go and search people out. I mean, people say a lone wolf couldn't make it. You know, when you virtually go through life trying to avoid people, where you go days without seeing human contact, you know, that SHT, if I'm a lone wolf, come up on a group, I spend a day with them, and then I'm out on my own again. Oh, you can never make it. You could never make it. Well, maybe you aren't. Veterans are the best of us. Respect. I wouldn't say we're the best of us, but we're the ones that are willing to sacrifice for our country's, people's freedom. You know, I know some people, when I was joined the service for the school benefits and all this other stuff, in the unit I was in the first 4 years, you couldn't do school. You were deployed all the time. We weren't even had the option of going to college. And some people like me, who was going to the recruiting station when I was in the 8th grade, and they kept telling me, just come back when you're older, come back when you're older. I went to the Marine Corps to serve my country. Like my grandfather, who was on the 3rd wave that hit Omaha Beach. It was in Europe until after the surrender. Okay? That's why I did, to serve my country, to serve my fellow citizen. So, you know, sense of duty, people. Some of us grew up with a sense of duty, sense of responsibility. And, you know, this whole world isn't what you can get out of it. It's what you can give back to. And that's what a lot of young men and young women who join the service when they're young, that's what they're doing. They're giving to, they know enough that they need to give back to society. And they do well. But, you know, just like every walk of life, you got characters of all different kinds. That's one thing nice about being where I was at. You had to really want to be there to be there. We didn't have none of that crap. But, you know, you had to really want to be there to be there. So, anyway, Everybody, congratulations with the government opening back up. I'm glad the military is going to get paid. I'm glad people aren't going to go hungry. But after this little incident, we see the issues that this government has, some of the problems we have with EBT, and they need to get fixed. Fixed. Okay? And we need jobs in this country. Over 70 million jobs being taken by legal and illegal foreigners in this country. 70 million. Anyway, how long do you think that's going to last? And all these people that, they're paying taxes. Yep, and they're also taking their paycheck and sending them out of the country and not spending them here. 75% of their paycheck is not being spent here. Okay? Anyway. Hey, Sarah, I sure appreciate you being here. Sure appreciate everybody being here. We all got to get out of this, people. And it doesn't matter. You can hate me. You can like me. You can hate your neighbor, but we're all in the same boat together. That's why hating me for the situation you're in is stupid, because I just learned to deal with it in a different way. But yeah, the stresses of the feeling of the government is just intruding on me and will not stop is there. But when the time comes for us to correct it, it's coming, people. It's coming. This can't go on forever. The ember of liberty will always burn with more power than the fire that is used to forge the sword of control. All governments, every single government throughout history has learned that. And governments will continue to learn that because governments have never changed. Once you put these idiot people in charge, it all goes to hell. When you stop serving the American public, you start serving yourself. That just makes Congress politics a self-serving institution. Anyway. No, I don't like it yet. Some dude, what'd you say? Dude, you are so gay. That's fine. King Trump. Okay. Lady Liberty halter head under the robe in embarrassment. Yeah. A lot of symbols in this country to say how Americans used to be. Back in World War II, the patriots in this country, the mindset of this country, Admiral Yamamoto was a naval attaché in the 30s in this country from Japan. And when Japan was talking about expanding, neutralizing the United States, he told them, hey, 6 months is 2 years, the most we got. We're going to wake up that sleeping giant, and it's going to be a bad time. And he was talking about the mentality of the American, how they just don't like authority. Okay? They don't step in the line like the Japanese or the Germans did, right? We just didn't like authority. And then he went in about weapons. And they're all, not only do Americans have weapons, there's a gun behind every blade of grass, but all Americans know how to use weapons. Okay? I grew up using weapons. When I can hit a straight pocket gopher in the head from 150 yards with no scope, open sights, that's how we were trained. Okay? And he warned them, and he was right. Japan woke up the sleeping giant. They got their ass kicked. Germany got their ass kicked. And the giant hasn't slept since December 7th, 1941. And it's definitely starting to look tired. Wouldn't you agree? Anyway, I've been going for an hour and a half almost already. Wow. Anyway, appreciate everybody being here. Like I say, if you like the content, please hit that thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification. That's all I'll ask for you to support the channel. If you want to watch a commercial to help the channel out, that's all to you. But, if you have money to spend to me, you have money to give to the local food shelf. Okay? I don't need money. I need people to wake up, realize what's happening, and stand with me against this shit. Okay? That's what I need. That's be more prosperous to me than having a fucking dollar bill in my pocket. Anyway, that's all I got for this morning. Appreciate everybody being here, and put out some more content. Like I say, check out all my content. You may like it. You may like it. And if it upsets you, at least my thoughts of the day, my shorts will get you thinking. Everybody, well, thank you, Sarah. I appreciate you subscribing. Like I say, you don't have to agree with everything I say. You know, the thing with me is I think everybody needs to have a social media channel. Every American. If they had all of a sudden 200 million Americans making videos on social media saying how they've had it with the government, you know, this is the way I can tell. Hey, Trump, fuck you. All you politicians kiss my ass. Get out of my life. See, I can do that on YouTube. That's what you need to do. Let them know how you're feeling, because your vote don't count, people. It don't even come close to counting. Okay? Like Stalin said. And this is why the Democrats are going to take it next time. It doesn't matter who casts the votes. It matters who counts the votes. And they're definitely going to do a lot of cheating. Not that they're going to have to, because plenty of people are pissed off at the Republicans. Remember when Trump said that he was going to release the list, and then he said the list was a hoax, and if you believe in the list, he don't need you, and whatever? Might be a lot of Republicans that are out voting during the midterms. And when the Democrats take the presidency in 3 years, can't wait to see what cities have troops on the streets then, or who they label as a terrorist group. Because I guarantee it won't be Antifa. They'll be considered the patriots. Remember, the communists have patriots too. They're just not the way our patriots thought. Anyway, my dad used to be a Republican, but after he passed away, I don't mean to laugh. Yeah, that's exactly it. They canvassed the fucking graveyard. The thing is, people, we know all this shit. We have social media now. They cannot keep secrets. If something comes out that they don't want, that gets out, they don't want people to know about, they just start pushing out a bunch of disinformation for people to get confused with. But yeah, that's how bad, and we all know it, and we're not doing a damn thing about it. Nothing. Thank God the government's open again, because they can continue on to this road to the abyss, down this road to the abyss. And the American taxpayers just, whew. Anyway, I guess this country will fall when none of us are paying taxes no more. Anyway, both side of wings are terrible. Yeah. I mean, like I say, both sides steal money from you, spend it on what you don't want, and lie about what they're going to do in office. They don't help us. Congress is not there to serve us. It's a self-serving institution, completely self-serving. So, but I'm glad it opened back up. Now they can sit there and really start screwing the American people again. But like I say, I'm sure when the Democrats had to tell the insurance companies, say, we got a cave, you ain't going to get your money. Imagine an insurance company need trillions of dollars from the American taxpayer to help pay for illegal Medicare. Anyway, I guess our government's got to figure it out somehow, right? None of us are smart enough to know what these constitutional lawyers understand. Anyway, crazy times, people. Crazy times. Anyway, appreciate everybody being here. And watch out for the grocery stores at Walmart today. They might be a little packed, or tomorrow. Might be a little crazy. So I hope everybody enjoyed their quiet for the 10 days they got in Walmart, because it ain't going to be that way again. Because the government money is out again, and everybody that's on the titty can just start sucking away. Anyway, pretty good live stream this morning, I thought. But I appreciate everybody being here. And You know, I don't usually do a live stream in the morning, but this was a special occasion. It's time to celebrate. We get to head to the road on the road of the abyss again. Great. America down the tubes. Let's kick that can down the road. Anyway, this is Tom with Hidden Truths. I'm out of here.